Welcome to the Radiant Life with Tatiana. I am your host, and I'm obsessed with empowering you to live and create the best life possible. I'm a master mindset coach, breathwork facilitator, and a passionate little Latina who loves sharing the magic behind your subconscious mind and energetics. If you're looking to uplevel your mindset, learn all about spirituality and manifestation, and to be inspired in making a change to embody your best self, you are in the right place. My goal is for you to see and unlock your limitless potential, to have the tools to break free from the chains holding you back so you can create and live your most radiant life. I am so excited to have you here listening today. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome to the Radiant Life podcast. If you're here watching on YouTube, welcome to the first ever fully recorded podcast being posted on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify and iTunes, wondering what I'm talking about, I have a camera in front of me and I am fully recording this podcast episode. I'm going to be sharing it on YouTube. This has been a goal of mine, a vision, and I'm just excited to be able to provide another opportunity to get access to this podcast. Maybe you're a YouTuber, or maybe you like watching video style content on YouTube, but more like podcast style. So here we are. Bear with me. It is the first time and hopefully it runs smoothly. And you can watch this episode and hopefully future ones to come on my personal channel at Tatiana_Kuto, as well as the podcast YouTube channel, the Radiant Life Podcast. But either way, I'm so excited to have you here, to have you listening, and to be back into podcasting and to talk about all things confidence. Today's podcast episode is sharing how to successfully build unshakable confidence in yourself so that you're unstoppable, and not the whole like fake it till you make it or just faking it in general to people, like actually how to have confidence in you, because confidence is the biggest key in life. I truly think the most successful people in whatever area we're talking about are successful because the confidence in themselves. You know, we need to have confidence to publicly speak, right? Or the confidence to show up on social media, the confidence to ask that person on a date, the confidence to show up at gym. Confidence plays a role in everything. And we just got back from our retreat a little less than a month ago. And this was a massive topic. Obviously, it's around a lot of the work I do and working with women, but confidence was huge and we really dove into it. And so I want to share some tips and tricks and things you can do at home that I shared with them, with some more tools for you to really learn how to build this unshakable confidence in yourself. And, you know, I just want you to know, like, you may see me maybe as an example of confidence. I believe I am confident in myself. However, it wasn't always like that. And there was areas in life where I didn't feel confident using my voice. So I would people please. I would let people walk all over me. In my career, when I was in engineering, like I wasn't confident enough to speak up for myself, saying like, I hate this. I don't want to do this. And with time, using the things I'm going to share with you today, I've really been able to build confidence in almost every area of my life. And if I don't feel confident in something, I have the tools to build it. And just knowing that maybe you're not confident right now, or maybe you know you can be more confident, let yourself grow. And just because it's not who you used to be doesn't mean it's not who you can become. We're here to change and grow and evolve as humans. And that's the beautiful part of neuroplasticity. Our brains are here to change as we grow and we can make a change. So before we dive in, I really want you to gauge where you're at. And I want you to ask yourself, are you confident? What areas are you confident in? Maybe you're confident with friends and family, but not in your career with your coworkers. That's great because that's a successful strategy. We can replicate that in different areas of your life. And I want you to ask yourself, like, what are some things you tell yourself? Do you tell yourself, I'm not confident, I'll never be confident, it's so hard for me to be confident, it's just not who I am? If that is, we're going to scratch that today, because if you know me, you know your words create your reality, and everything you say after I am is who you become. And so we're no longer going to say those things to beat yourself up, to have this reality continue to repeat its cycle. Because at the end of the day, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are right. Thank you, Henry Ford, for sharing that. Because if you believe you can't be confident or you won't become confident, guess what? You won't. So we're changing that today. And the first things first, before we even dive into today's detail, to the meat of it, start changing the way you speak to yourself. Like I said, just because you may not have been a confident person in the past does not mean you can't become that. because all we're really given is the present moment right now, and that's going to change and dictate our future. So let's draw a line in the sand and let's make the decision. You're making a change with how you speak to yourself. And maybe you're like, well, if I say I am confident, this bullshit meter comes up in your brain. Totally normal. So let's change it. You could say, I am learning to be confident. I am becoming more confident each day. Those words, learning and becoming, give your mind a way to believe that you're working on it, right? Because you're maybe not there yet until you are. Or maybe you define confidence, and instead of saying the word I am confident, you just say I am whatever the definition is. So it feels more realistic for you. That way, you're believing it, and you create this as an affirmation. And so that way you're changing your beliefs and you're changing the way you speak to yourself. So then you're changing your reality because your words create it. And if you need some more support on affirmations, you can download my freebie. It's in the link in the show notes below. I have an affirmations freebie that will teach you how to do it properly. But let's dive into the meat, confidence, right? Like I just said, I think it's a good idea for you to right now press pause, think about it, write it in your notes, journal it. What's the definition of confidence to you? Because it's going to mean something different to you than it is to me. And I think when you define it, then you can really understand how you can become it. I Googled a few things, and in Google, it says confidence is the state of feeling certain about the truth of something, a feeling of self-assurance, feeling sure of yourself and abilities, and not in an arrogant way, but more in a secure, realistic way. And it's not about being superior to others. It's just more of like this quiet inner knowledge that you're capable of doing what you say you're going to do or what you're setting out to do. So let's break down the word confidence. I heard this from Myron Golden, so I got to give credit to where it's due, and it really supported me, and I think it's a good way for me to communicate this to you today. The root word inside of confidence is confide. Confide means to trust. So if you don't have confidence in yourself, even if it's in a certain area of your life, it means you don't trust yourself. So why? So for me, I didn't really trust myself in following through when I said I was going to do certain things, especially when it came to the area of losing weight. For me, for years, I would always say, the diet starts Monday. I'll get in that workout routine on Monday, and it would come around and I wouldn't. Or I would not stick to the diet and then I would binge eat. So I didn't trust myself to stick to a workout plan, to stick to a diet. And so I wasn't confident in myself in the area of health and fitness. So for you, I want you to ask yourself, and I think this is a beautiful opportunity for you to sit down and journal in your journal, on your notes, because this is going to bring things from the subconscious to the conscious of like the root of why you are the way you are or thinking the way you think. Why? Why don't you trust yourself? Ask yourself that. What comes up for you? Journal this out. Maybe you ask yourself, do I trust others more than me? And if I do, why? Why do I trust them? Do they exert more confidence and trust in themselves, so that's why I trust them more than me? And then ask yourself, is this valid or not, right? It doesn't serve you, so it's probably not. And maybe you're like, well, I don't trust myself. And that's just a fact. It's not a belief. Okay, but again, why? Why, when we like see confidence and trust in other people, we can have this like inner dialogue sometimes. So it's like, well, they can do it, they can have it, they can be it, but not me. But why? Like, why not you? Look at that as inspiration, as a successful model that you can duplicate for yourself. And instead of judging yourself from who you were in the past and the things you did, let it see that those people probably weren't perfect or had confidence or trust either. They worked on it. So why not have the belief that you can build trust with yourself? You can build confidence in yourself to have the successful business, to have the relationship, to show up on social media, whatever it is, having a healthy toned body. And just letting yourself see it as an inspiration. And maybe you didn't trust yourself in the past, but can you trust yourself in the future? And I want to take a moment here because this is probably where you're finding a block here. Because I would think the reason why people don't trust themselves is because you are the only person who has ever heard every lie you have ever told. Am I right? The lie that you said you were going to call your mom back and you didn't. The lie that said you were going to go to the gym Monday and you didn't. The lie that said you were going to start the social media account to share your knitting hobby and you didn't. You have heard all the lies. You have heard all the things you said you were going to do and you didn't do. So that's probably why you're not building or you don't have as much trust with yourself. And it is okay. because guess what? You get to make a change. And that person, those thoughts and habits aren't of the past. And today, you and I, we're going to break this together. So I want you to realize that, yes, you may have heard all your other lies, but today you're going to start working on building trust and being in integrity with your word, aka doing what you say you're going to do. And this is why so many people fail with their goals, because they say they're going to do something, but they don't believe it because they haven't done it in the past, or they haven't done other things in the past, and then they don't, right? Or it's deeper than that, and it's like their subconscious beliefs, behaviors, values aren't in alignment to that conscious goal. And that's another topic, things I help in EYR, and in just, I've shared that in other podcast episodes. But again, it's that because there's no belief there's no trust in yourself, and maybe you didn't make the decision, right? So make a decision right now. Let's draw a line in the sand, you and me together, that the past is in the past and you're going to move forward. And make it a decision, not a choice. Because a decision is a commitment, meaning you're going to do everything it takes to work on this, to become this, to achieve this. And you're going to cut off all other possibilities of you failing or not believing in yourself because of the past. Because again, the past is in the past. So many people look at the present and the future with the foggy lens of the past, thinking the past has to dictate what's to come, but it doesn't have to be that way. So make the commitment, make the decision instead of the choice, because a choice just means you can choose something different each and every single day, just like you can choose a different outfit each and every single day. So make a decision. So that way you get to transmute this wishy-washy energy you may have, which may be looking like lack of confidence, meaning like lack of trust in yourself, right? People feel that energy. I can feel when someone's not confident in themselves, they don't trust themselves based on the energy. It's like a wishy-washiness. Maybe you have a wishy-washy dialogue with yourself of your word because you've broken it so many times. And today you're making a decision. All right, cool. The decision's made. Awesome. Let's move forward. Let's start with how you can build the trust with yourself and then into the tips of confidence. Because like we said, trust equals confidence when you have trust in yourself. So to build trust with yourself, you have to build trust with your word, meaning being in integrity, doing the things you say you're going to do. And, I will say, I guess I really wasn't always somebody who said who would do what I said I was going to do, because my mom, bless her heart, and I hear her voice, she used to always be like, Tatiana, you're a quitter, or you half-assed everything. You started this chore and then you quit, and then all these things. And so in her eyes, I wasn't doing what I said I wasn't going to do. I didn't fully clean my bedroom, or I didn't fully finish the guitar lessons that I was going to do, or the swim team, or all these things. Like I said I was going to do something and I didn't always do it fully. I would say I started it, but not fully. And I think that was, actually thinking about it right now, I do believe that was a huge lack of confidence for me, because I didn't believe I was good enough. And that was a deep-rooted belief for me, and a little bit of symptoms of ADHD-ness. So my point here is that I didn't always have this unshakable confidence and trust with myself. And when I learned this concept, it really helped me. And you may have heard me say this a few times, and you know what? Repetition is key. And so maybe you did it or you didn't do it, but I'm going to remind you again so you can build the bigger muscle. We need to start with the small things, because trust with yourself is like a muscle. And how you do the small things is how you do the big things. So how many times do you tell yourself you're going to go do the dishes or do the laundry, and the laundry's in your bucket for days? Luckily, I'm not that person. I'm the type of person that unpacks from a trip right away, does my laundry right away. My sister, not so much. Maybe that's you. So how can you start building trust with doing what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it? My biggest tip is to start speaking out loud, or internally, or both. You're going to do something when you're in the middle of doing it or when you're about to go do it. So what I mean by this is, when you're in the middle of washing dishes, go tell yourself, I'm going to wash dishes right now. Tell yourself, I'm going to go take the trash out as you're walking to the trash to take it outside. I'm going to go take a shower after dinner, and actually go take a shower after dinner. I'm going to go call my friend back as you're on your phone about to call their name, right? I know it's silly because you're like, even if I'm in the middle of doing it, but what's happening here is you're building the small muscle. Right now, it might be the size of like your fingernail, and we're going to grow it and grow it. And I want you to see that when you're doing these things, and what you're telling your subconscious mind is, Oh, she said she's going to do the dishes or do the trash or do the laundry. Oh, she actually did it. Oh my goodness. Guess what? The muscle's growing. The belief in yourself, the trust in yourself is growing. So then you're becoming more trusting with yourself and your word. And so your subconscious mind isn't going to go like, beep, beep, alarm. She's lying again. I don't believe it, when you want to go do the big things. So the next time you say, all right, I'm going to get back into a workout routine, or I'm going to create this Instagram account and share my hobby, or I'm going to hire a trainer and lose 10 pounds, your mind's not going to be like, okay, bullshit, girls, take a seat down, because you said that last time and guess what? You never did anything. Instead, it's going to say, okay, cool. I actually believe you and I trust you're going to follow through because you've done it with all these other small things. So let's use this muscle to support you into actually following through with these big things and have the world conspire to you to make sure you execute, right? So look at it as building this muscle with trusting your word, being in integrity with your word, and building confidence with yourself. And let me tell you, like I said, that was me in the past. I am a woman and I take pride in this when I say I am an action taker. If I say I'm going to do something, I follow through with it all the time. I always will. And I don't even know if there's an if. There must be a reason if not. If you're my friend, you know that. If you're on social media and I'm sending you a DM, like, give me your email, I'm going to send you this. You get an email, and the amount of times people are like, oh my God, you remembered? Thank you so much for taking the time. I do what I say I'm going to do. And that trust in myself, you can feel the confidence when I say that, came from me doing it with the small things and building it up over time for me to believe and see that I actually was following through when I was going to do something. This is how I was able to actually release the weight, become a personal trainer, move to Florida, start a business, because I started building that confidence and trust with myself before then. So when I wanted to do the big things, my mind believed it. So don't put the pressure to have it all figured out right now. Trust that you're on this right path, and it's little baby steps each and every single day. And remember, our future changes based on our actions right now in this present moment. Stop focusing on the past and who you used to be. Make the decision now. So as you have that tool to build trust with yourself, to build confidence with your word, let's build on a few other things of how you can build confidence. So in NLP, in my background, there's something that we're trained in. It's really how to duplicate, how to model successful people. And, they've walked the path before. This is why mentorship and coaching is great. It's because they can guide you into what they've already done so that you don't have to make the same mistakes too. And we're modeling successful behaviors. You may have heard Tony Robbins say that if you're a student of Tony Robbins, but there was 3 things. I'm going to focus on 2. The first thing is, if you want to duplicate what you see in someone else that's successful in having confidence, right, and having trust in themselves, the first thing is model their belief systems. Like I said, your beliefs dictate everything. They dictate your words, they dictate your thoughts, they dictate your reality, because it's the lens you're seeing things. If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. So I want you to ask yourself, or maybe you think of someone right now in your mind who you really look up to in a respectful way, who has this unshakable confidence in themselves. What do you think their belief system is? Or maybe you ask them if you can. DM them. Maybe it's a friend. And ask them. Because would they believe that they're not good enough, that they're not smart enough, that they're dumb, that they're not confident? Or would they believe that they're doing the best they can each and every single day with what they have? Would they believe that they are good enough? Would they believe that they're confident and they're constantly growing as a human, right? They're probably having some strong, empowering thoughts versus negative thoughts. And they've probably mastered that. And maybe they continue to work on their beliefs, right? I think somebody who shows a lot of confidence in themselves and trust is somebody who's really learned how to master their mindset and not put themselves down, but hype themselves up. And they probably have a really strong belief system. So how can you model their beliefs? And what I would say to you is, maybe you ask them, or maybe you just make assumptions. Maybe you Google, ask ChatGPT, create affirmations from there. So that way you can start moving into reprogramming your belief system and the way you speak to yourself to then model what someone who has that must have, right? Because our beliefs dictate how we show up and how we think about ourselves. So instead of telling yourself, I'm not confident or not going to be good enough, you tell yourself, I'm becoming more confident and I am good enough just the way I am. And that's empowering. And that's going to make you feel different. You can feel it the way I say it. The second thing to model is to model their physiology. our body language speaks for everything. So I want you to ask yourself, when you're standing in front of people, when you're talking, maybe it's a presentation, whatever it is, how do you stand? Do you have your arms crossed? Are your shoulders rounded? Are you like hand on a hip, hips popped out, like kind of awkward? Like really think, somebody you look up to who's confident, is that how they stand? Is that their body language? Or do they stand tall? Are their shoulders dropped? Is their heart and chest open? Do they give you eye contact when they're talking to you? What's their voice tonality like, right? People with confidence, their body language speaks of it. And, think about it. If I were to come up to you and be like, hi, I'm Tatiana. I'm a mindset coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like voice tonality that we used to have to practice this in NLP. It was so funny. Like a little at the top makes you question it, right? And so it's like versus, hi, I'm Tatiana and I'm a mindset coach. Total difference, right? So how can you model their physiology, their body language? And think about it. This is an exercise I had the girls do at the retreat. And this is something I'm going to recommend for you to do. Because when you put your body in a physical stance, in a physical state, it starts firing off neural networks for you to like really start to feel what it feels like, maybe for the first time. So I want you to stand in front of a mirror. I want you to put your hands on your hips. And if you're watching on YouTube, you get the gist. And it's like a superhero power stance. Shoulders nice and tall, back lower, chest open, heart open. And look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself or maybe you look a little bit up to get a little comfortable. I used to do this all the time to get myself into the body and into what it would feel like to be fully confident. And like, it's going to be a little awkward at first. I remember the girls were giggling and squirming because your body kind of wants to go back into like the old shriveled way, like, I'm not confident, I'm not seen type of way. Stand there, move through the discomfort, because when you are uncomfortable, that just means growth. And let yourself stand there nice and tall, breathe in, nice deep breaths, and start to feel what it feels like to be confident. And model their physiology. Next, think about it when you go into a networking event or you go into work. How do you sit? How do you stand? Can you bring in eye contact? Can you change your voice to be more certain and like conviction with yourself versus questioning? And something you can do is if you're like, for example, maybe you're a business owner or you're studying a degree or, you're meeting someone on a first date for the first time and you're going to introduce yourself, practice what you're going to say. Repetition is key, you guys, for the subconscious mind. So just because you say an affirmation once, you do the power stance once, you repeat what you're going to say once, your mind needs to repeat it. I remember when I first started my business and being an entrepreneur and going to networking events, it felt really uncomfortable for me. And people would ask, what do I do? And I was a health coach at that time. And even when I did mindset coaching, I was like, I'm a health coach. I'm a personal trainer. I'm I don't know, I'm a business owner. I don't really know. I do coaching. I just wasn't confident and convicted with what I said. And my coach would be like, you have to practice what you say all the time so that it's so unconscious that it comes off automatic. So now if somebody asks me, what do I do? I say something like, I have a personal development company. I'm a mindset coach, breathwork facilitator. I host retreats, and I'm also a podcast host, all pretty much to help people become the best version of themselves and create their dream life and business. I don't know, I just said that on the spot, but you can feel the difference, right? It doesn't really matter just the words that I said. What matters is also how I said it. And granted, I probably spoke a little fast. I could have slowed down, but I'm looking at somebody in the eye. I'm telling them what they do. I'm standing nice and tall, and I'm confident in myself. Even if they don't know what the hell mindset coaching or breathwork facilitator is, because trust me, not many people do, and it's funny, and I kind of giggle. My confidence opens the door for them to be like, tell me more about that. And I'm like, okay, let me tell you. So again, how can you model their belief systems, their physiology? And the last one is their mental syntax. So it's how their brain fires off words. Sometimes it's meaning, right? So a brief example, I'm not going to dive into this one too much because I'm just not going to confuse you even more. But I was on a coaching call yesterday and the woman was like, well, if I stumble my words on my Facebook Live, then I'm an idiot. And then no one's going to take me seriously and pay me high ticket. And I was like, girlfriend, what? What's the syntax? What's the firing off for you to make it mean if you're human and you stumble on your words on a live because it's nerve-wracking and if you've never done it before, why are you making that mean you're an idiot and you're not an expert in your field when you've been doing this for 20, 30 years? And so we had to do a little reframing and shifting perspective and la la la. So it's just like how you're firing things off and how you're making it mean. So to wrap this all up, you guys, to build unshakable confidence in a successful way, not a fake it till you make it way, we need to first start building trust with yourselves and start building that muscle. Start doing the things you say you're going to do, even if you're in the middle of doing it, like the dishes and laundry, and start building that trust. Maybe you journal out the things you actually follow through on so your conscious mind can remember and see, oh yeah, like I actually did these things. Like, heck yeah, I'm proud of myself, and it builds that momentum. And then maybe you find someone that successfully models confidence for you and ask yourself, what are their belief systems? And how can you start modeling those belief systems? And maybe you turn them into affirmations. How can you model their physiology? How can you stand taller? Do that, practice that stance, right? I always want you guys to leave these podcast episodes not just with like, oh, okay, that was good. No, like actually apply it, actually do something with it. Because if you don't, then nothing's going to change. You got to do something different to have something different, to be something different. So change the way you stance, change your voice tonality, practice things in the mirror. And then maybe question yourself, what are you making things mean for the next one? But I hope this really supports you in learning how to really build unshakable confidence with yourself. It's a muscle. It takes time. If you want that affirmations freebie, you can grab it with the link below to support you. And maybe you sit back and journal on what I repeated or what I said in the beginning. But just know it takes baby steps and you're on the right path. And if you want more support on a little bit more of the deprogramming and reprogramming your mind for the better to really build a stronger sense of confidence in yourself and who you are, then take a look at Embrace Your Radiance. This is my 4-month program that really teaches you how to discover really who you are and let go of the things, the behaviors, the negative talks, the old programming that's holding you back, and how to rewire it into the new so that you can step into your true power. You can step into unshakable confidence in yourself to then become your true self and create the dream life that you deserve. So you can learn more of that on my website. The link is below. And I'm just so grateful to have you guys listening here. If you valued from this, please take a screenshot, tag me on Instagram at Tatiana_Kuto, send it maybe to a friend who could value from it, and let me know what you think. I always love getting feedback. I love being back on the podcast and just hearing from you. And if you have any topic recommendations or questions, let me know. I always want to make sure I'm creating episodes that you value from and that are supporting you wherever you're at in your life. Well, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate and love you so much, and I will see you in the next episode. I hope you have the most radiant day. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to share it with me and write an Apple iTunes review so I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me, you can find me on Instagram at Tatiana_Kuto. Make sure to tag me in any posts that you share. I love and appreciate you so much and cannot wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out and radiate your light into the world.